All right, Thomas, thanks for being here with us.
My pleasure.
Can you tell me a bit more about the subject of your paintings and your work?
It's plenty of things, but it's mostly landscapes. I think I'm a landscape painter. I sometimes feel like I don't want to put things into, like to label things too much, but it's true that whenever I try to paint something else than landscapes, I immediately go back to nature and paint more landscapes. So I guess I mostly do landscapes. And what I'm after is experiences. Like the main thing I do is that I go out and I paint outside directly. Because I believe that only through the direct experience, you can learn. You understand colors, you understand light, you understand how things grow, how they react. You're immersed in the environment, and you learn all these things, and then you can bring them back to the studio, and you can create other things, like big paintings or whatever you want. But for me, like being outside is really important. So yeah, it's landscapes, and landscapes is in plenty of forms. You know, I love to paint at night, for example. I painted in caves. That was adventurous. In snowstorms, in rains, you know, in rainforest, in mountains. But it's always the experience that attracts me. I guess I'm searching for something when I'm out there in nature.
What comes first? You decide to go out and plein air, look for an experience, and then something captures your attention and you say, okay, this is what I'm gonna work on today. Or is the other way around? You look for a specific experience, you look for a specific landscape. Is it both? Where does the process start?
I'm very goal-oriented, like in life and in art. So I cannot just go out and hoping that I will randomly find something to paint. So I always know exactly like where I'm going and why I'm going there. And usually it works like I go on some trip or I'm somewhere and I notice something and in my mind I save it and I notice the time of year, the time of day, the weather, but I don't usually have my equipment there. So half a year later, or even many years later, I realized that now are the perfect conditions, you know, the same conditions as when I was there, when I got this idea. So I return with all the equipment and I paint there. But I really always have a very clear idea what I want to do, how I want to do it, like, you know, the size of canvas. I know how I would start, how I would finish. So, and when I don't like to get astray, you know, I really think I want to go to the point.
Can you tell me a bit more about one of these paintings so we can go more a bit in depth about the inspiration process and technique?
There's a place in Taiwan where I spent a few months ago. I went there for two months. I love going back to Taiwan. There is something in that country that really resonates with me. And in this case, it's mountains and mists in the wet mountains covered with thick jungle. So I found this place in Taiwan. I went there multiple times and I painted quite a big plein air painting there. This funny story was that it was so big that at the end, when I finished it, I painted with oils, and oils take a lot of time to dry. And I wasn't thinking, you know, a lot of times, even though I'm goal-oriented, I'm kind of forget about things. And I make things too difficult for myself. So when I finished the painting, I realized I have no way to transport it back. So I had to leave it there on the spot in the mountains and return for it 4 days later. So, but I found it. I returned 4 days later. It was there, so I brought it back. And this big painting is based on that small, or not small, like plein air piece that I recovered from the mountains. And the thing is that when I do these big things in the studio, I do them because sometimes I feel that I want to go further. You know, like that capturing thing outside in plein air is not enough. I feel like I want to transform things and I want to express something a little bit deeper, a little bit behind. It may sound a little bit metaphysical, but when you're outside and when you're experiencing things, it's not only about your vision. There is your whole body, there is your senses, there is your ideas, your memories. And all this creates the experience that you're having when you are there. And I feel sometimes that only painting in plein air what I see is not enough, that I need to somehow alter things so that they remind me better what I actually experience with my whole body. So hence why I paint these big things. And this one was basically created from memory, because after spending so many hours, I spent half of my life in nature observing things, I realized I remember.
When I look at your work, I feel like that you have two separate kind of roads that you take. And one is populated with people in it, or the human presence is very relevant. And in the other one is on purpose absent, I think. Can you tell me more about that?
I'm not sure about the populated part you're referring to. This is an older piece, and this is one of the cases that I mentioned where sometimes I try to paint figures only to realize that I'm a landscape painter and only to paint 10 to something with people inside. I might be introverted or something, but when I'm in nature, I'm after silence. I'm after being alone. I'm after connection. And I think most of my paintings that are landscapes are empty because they reflect this part of me. So when there is a person in a painting, it feels like it's not quiet. When there is a figure, it's like that figure. It's like there is some chatter. But I love silence. Only sometimes chatter. Mostly I actually paint here in Czech. I spend most of the time here, and I think the landscape in Czech Republic, it's not dramatic. There's no high mountains and deep jungles here, but it has some spirit. So I actually really appreciate the landscape here in Czech. But I also appreciate Canary Islands, for example, and Taiwan. And these two places specifically because it's again that feeling of isolation. A lot of people see Canary Islands as tourist destination, and it is. You can rent a hotel room there and have your jacuzzi and beach with bars and all that, but you can also find some really secluded places there with unbelievable mountains and cliffs and wilderness. So when I go there, I'm after these places. And there's something about sea and volcanic landscape that really makes me feel like I'm stranded on another planet. And I guess this describes the feeling that I like to experience when I'm there.
Do you want to go more now in depth into this painting?
Yeah, we can. Approximately 5 years ago, I went jogging. It was in winter, and in winter it gets dark very early here in Czech. It was dark already. And I wanted to go to my favorite park, and so I brought a headlamp with me. And as I was jogging and pointing at different things with my headlamp, I realized that it looks fucking interesting. Like all the places that I know so well suddenly looked like some different planet. So actually, instead of jogging, I spent 3 hours just running around and pointing my light at different trees. And that evening I realized I can try to paint that. So the next night I came back with the brushes and everything, and I tried to paint my first painting at night with a headlamp. I was not sure how it would turn out. And in the morning, on the daylight, I checked it, and it worked. Like, that was everything. It looked exactly as what I saw with my eyes. So that's how I discovered that I can paint at night. That's the first part. since I created like this whole series of night paintings. I think it's like 20 or 30 paintings. There was some 2 exhibitions that were only about night paintings. And as far as I know, no one before me, maybe even after me, like went so far as me with painting at night. So it made me feel like I actually did something a little bit new, which it's not the case with all the other landscapes. And this particular painting went even further, because there is a house on this painting, a ruined house. And the story is that when we were kids, this house is in a village where I grew up, and when we were kids, we thought, or we heard, that this house was haunted. Yeah. And there was some strange stories behind it, like lightning repeatedly struck into the house. Even a few times I heard it. I don't know if it's English, if it's called ball lightning. It's in English, yeah, but it's like this lightning ball that kind of can move, you know. So reportedly 2 times it came through the chimney into the house when people still lived there. I don't know if it was true, but for sure we were scared to go there when we were kids. So 30 years later, I returned and I saw the house, and it was even more ruined than before. And I thought, like, I'm after experiences, so why not to do this? You know, I was still scared, but I was there alone. You know, we have a family cottage there, like Czech families. We all have like our summer houses. So our cottage was nearby. I was there alone. So one night I decided I would go for it. Brought my stuff, went there. It was really scary. Really scary. It felt like everywhere it was warm, but only around this house. Somehow I started to breathe out some vapors, you know, vapor, which was like from a horror movie. Yeah, so I was like, fuck, I need to do this as fast as I can. You know, this is really strange. I'm not feeling great here. So I was painting fast, and suddenly I felt like I saw something with my peripheral vision, like a silhouette of a huge creature. Oh, like a dog, you know, but huge. And I was like, I froze. And fuck, what was that? You know, and I pointed my light there, and there was nothing, but I was sure I saw something. So I knew I had to finish this painting fast, because this was getting really strange. So I finished everything, and I really ran home, and I was running from that place. It's like 2 kilometers. And when I was running, my flashlight turned off and didn't want to. I couldn't turn it on again, and the battery was full. You know, it was supposed to last for 10 hours, so there was no reason for it not to work. It worked later again. That was even stranger. But I survived, and this painting survived, and it turned out quite well. And the emotions I had were so strong that I don't feel like I want to give this painting up ever. I'm gonna keep it. I hope the painting is not haunted as well. No. Yeah, so this is the story, and actually a lot of my paintings from plein air, the small ones, have quite emotional and intense stories behind them. Because sometimes you climb 3 hours, you know, to some mountain, you know, for your painting. Or other times you're going to a jungle and it starts to rain, you know, this tropical rain, and everything is drenched, you know, and you still manage to do the painting, and then and it's exciting, and you know, and you manage to bring it back, and it's even more exciting. So a lot of the things that I do outside have some stories behind them, and when I look at those paintings, I immediately remember exactly how I felt. You know, when I see this painting with a haunted house, I get these shivers in my back again. You know, it's there. So the plein air paintings are actually they're all very emotional for me.
Do you sometimes think about how you're going to develop as an artist in the future? The directions you want to take?
Yeah, quite often. I have few goals. One goal is quite materialistic, in a way that I really want to be able to keep doing what I'm doing. Because I love freedom. And I love that when I paint, I can like really freely choose what I want to paint without thinking about who's going to buy it or if a gallery is going to like it. So I would really like to have this freedom and to keep it, because I have it now. I don't need to be famous, as long as I'm independent. And the second thing is that I really want to paint the best painting that I can paint. And I want to be the best painter that I can be. Like every day I wake up with this. Yeah, I don't need to be on the news, but I really want to be a good painter, better painter. And you know, with each painting like just opens more doors for you. You know, you think you try your best, and it's might seem good, but 2 weeks later you look at the painting and this painting just brought more questions. You know, just hinted like new ways how to do things next time, how to do them better, different. So it's never gonna end. I think I'm never gonna be satisfied, which is exciting.
Thank you for your time. It was really a pleasure.
It was my pleasure. I'm really happy
here
that you visited my new studio.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thanks.
I really appreciate it.
Me too.
Thank you.